Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the PHNX Suns podcast, brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review. We very much so appreciate it. I'm Lindsey Smith, and today I've got Gerald Bourguet by my side, as well as Espo. Gentlemen.
I'm used to these seats in the studio.
Yeah.
What's your favorite color?
What?
What's your favorite color? Gerald missed the memo. I told Espo the other day, I'm going to stop asking you guys how you're doing, and I'm going to start asking you random questions off the top because I just am over asking you.
I thought you were
doing.
quoting Elf, like Buddy the Elf.
No, I'm
Hi, Buddy the Elf.
asking.
What's your favorite color?
What is your favorite color?
It's either blue or the combination of black and yellow. So those go really well together.
Steelers fan.
Yep.
Purple.
Purple.
Not just because of the Suns.
Not
I am shocked.
surprising. Yeah, like shocked.
Yeah. Orange has grown on me over the years, but purple
Orange
is nice.
has grown on you.
What's your favorite, Linz?
Green.
Green.
But
Okay.
not like a lime green, like a pretty green, like hunter green, army green, any sort of variation of like a deeper tone of green.
Okay.
I'm with.
All right.
Can we put Fabio's comment back up?
What is it?
Fabio says, is it just me or does Espo look happier since coming out of the closet? Yes, since I've left the walk-in closet, it is nice to be back amongst the living.
I was like,
Gerald
wow.
wasn't here for
Gerald
that.
was scared.
Gerald-
That was an aggressive comment to start the show.
He was
Gerald,
like,
did you
wait,
miss that?
what did I
I
miss?
Yeah.
I did miss that.
Congratulations, Espo.
I think my wife missed that too.
No wonder he didn't take the misses out.
Hey-o.
Oh,
Thanks,
dear.
Gerald.
I'm sorry.
Well, it is a Friday, and we like to have some fun on Fridays. So we have a few serious-ish, well, not serious, just legit topics to get through. But then at the end of the show, we have some really fun stuff for you guys. So
Wait, everything is legit.
Mhm.
I
If we
mean,
talk about it, it's legit.
fair.
It's the way that works around
Right.
here.
But it's like, I whatever.
She's crapping on our topic at the end, I
think.
think, is what's going on.
No, I said it was a fun topic. Anyway, let's get into it. Our first topic of the day, we're going to talk about Monty Williams being officially named to the USA basketball coaching staff.
Sort of.
Sort of? What do you mean sort of? Isn't this
So-
tweet
Hold
make it
on.
official?
So this was, I felt bad because like I had showed this tweet to Kellen at shoot around about how it's from the NBA Coaches Association.
It's got
Like
the
that's
blue
pretty
check mark,
official.
yeah.
But Team USA has not officially announced anything yet. So Kellen asked him about it at pregame, and Monty was just like, I can't talk about it yet because it's not official from USA. So it's unofficially official. It was already reported by somebody a few weeks
I think it was
ago.
Woj.
And now we got the NBA Coaches Association. Team USA basketball is going to be like the last people to actually announce this. So it's unofficially official.
How
I
does the
guess.
Coaches Association not get in alignment with Team USA?
I have no
because
idea.
inevitably you are putting your coaches who are in said association in an awkward position.
Well,
Yeah.
and then like, how long does it take to send a tweet and
Right.
a press release?
Right.
Like, it's not that hard. Just
Yeah.
send it.
Yeah, so I don't know what the holdup is on that front, but yeah, so it's unofficially official. Thank you,
Wow.
NBA Coaches Association, Team USA basketball. What the hell are you doing?
Can we call Grant Hill up and ask him? This is his
Yes.
first big move. Can we get this right, Grant? Can we just get this announced?
My
I would
goodness.
love to. I love Grant Hill. I'll give him a call.
You know, I'll see what I can do.
All right.
I
let's
have
talk to
Grant
him.
connections. I'll see.
Do
if
you
we can
really?
get-
Gerald's
Oh,
going to be
he's-
so stoked.
I
like a
drink
kid in a
Sprite
candy
because of
store.
Grant Hill.
You're not wearing your feelers. If you wear your feelers,
Oh, well,
yeah, we'll make it
I don't
happen.
want to have foot problems. But
Low blow.
Oh,
Maybe
I
I,
love you,
won't
Grant.
call up Grant.
I love you,
if
Grant.
You can't say that if he comes
No.
on the. You need to have a
He knows.
filter.
He already knows.
I will reach out. You know, I will text somebody I know and see if we
Yes.
can get Grant.
All right, we're gonna pretend it's official because it's essentially there, but
Mhm.
I guess we have to wait for the tweet. But Monty Williams will be a part of the Team USA basketball coaching staff, alongside a few other gentlemen, namely Steve Kerr, who's going to be leading the charge over there. Are you surprised at all that it was Steve Kerr named ahead of Monty, or does that make sense to you? I feel like it makes sense. He's got the more experience, and then maybe it's paving the way for Monty to take over later on down the road.
Wasn't he the lead assistant with Pop
Yeah.
too? So I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I thought Steve might not want to do it just because he's had physical problems with his back and that, you know, the travel and all that. Maybe he wasn't going to want to do it, but obviously it's a thing of pride to be named the head coach of USA basketball. He and Grant have a relationship back from their son's days as well. So Grant asked him, probably meant something to him as well. So it doesn't surprise me, but could there be a nicer duo than Steve Kerr and Monty Williams, and the way that they try to uplift their guys, the way they approach this, than those two guys to run USA basketball, which I feel like you need that. I was kind of surprised Pop was the last coach, and Coach K was before that, because these are guys dedicating their what amounts to free time to being part of USA basketball for multiple years. And I thought they might go more the route of the Steve Kerr, Monty Williams kind of coaching, where it's player friendly, it's not pushing overly hard. Where Coach K and Coach Pop don't really subscribe to that.
I don't know that they even know how to not do that, though.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so ingrained in their DNA. I don't know that they could really switch it up like that.
I think for Pop, he eases back a little bit with Team USA basketball. Like, obviously he wants to win, and Monty's talked about that because he's close to Pop, and he knew how bad Coach Pop wanted to win in the Olympics and whatnot. But it does seem like it's a little more lax for Team USA basketball for him. But I really like these hires because you've got Steve Kerr and Monty Williams, who over the last decade, probably the leaders on the front of like building a culture and cultivating a winning program out of that. And then you've got Eric Spoelstra, who's been like one of the game's best tacticians for years now. Like, he is really good with X's and O's. He's also, they always talk about heat culture and whatnot, and that's not just him. Pat Riley's a big part of that and the players, but a really good combination of basketball knowledge, of creative offensive sets, of good defensive principles. Like, those are probably the three coaches I would have wanted to be in charge of Team USA basketball. So they kind of, Grant, you did a good job. You nailed this one.
Yeah, kudos to you. I also feel like this is such a good coaching staff that, not that we've seen too many players not want to participate, but I think with this coaching staff, you almost have even more of an incentive to want to participate, just because you can actually get something out of it. Like, these are the top of the top players and athletes in the league, right? So you kind of only look at it from a pride standpoint sometimes. Like, you want this experience because you're proud of your nationality or whatever it may be. But I also think that even though you're at the top of your game and the top of your league, you can still learn something from these three coaches.
Oh, certainly. And I think it means something for the coaches as well. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Steve Kerr's father was actually not a dignitary, but I'm blanking on the name, but he represented the
ambassador.
The ambassador, thank you. I believe he was at one point. So there's a connection to that, and any time that you can wear that red, white, and blue, and Kerr's been such a proponent of cultural change and what the spirit of America is for a lot of people. I'm excited to see him do that, and Monty very much that same way. And then these players get a chance to work with some of the best coaches in the world, with Monty and Spoelstra and Steve Kerr. So it's going to be interesting. For me, I'm selfish, right? And I look and I go, how does this impact me? As in, how does this make the Phoenix Suns better so it makes the show better? And that's recruiting, right?
You're building those relationships.
It's recruiting time.
Showing guys what they could experience, things like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's a good recruiting opportunity for the Warriors, for the Suns, and for the Heat. Three programs that are currently just on the basketball front. We're not talking organization-wise, but just on the basketball front, very well respected around the league for putting out a winning product in recent years, for being a place that guys want to play. So now guys that are playing for Team USA basketball, they're going to be big names mostly. But these are all guys that get a chance to work with Monty up close, work with these coaches up close. And these types of relationships are cool, and they could be meaningful down the road. Who knows?
Yeah, how does Monty undercut Kerr and Spoelstra though? Because we don't want these guys
get
getting too close. We got to figure out.
on.
Hey, Steve's a great guy, but who knows how long he's going to be in Golden State? He may return to broadcasting or retire. Spoelstra, you got Pat Riley there, and yeah, he'll show you the rings, but that guy's a bit of a hard ass. So come to Phoenix. You know, we got Champ, we got me. Like I want to hear Monty's elevator pitch, how he works these guys.
Espo's already planting the seeds of discord in
really?
Team USA.
You got it. Look, it's very much like any reality show when you're trying to win something at the end.
You got to play the game.
I like everybody around, but I got to play the game, and I got Larry O'Brien on the mind. How do I make that happen? It's Book, it's CP3, and it's Monty going, yeah, Miami, yeah, South Beach is nice, and Golden State, yeah, whatever.
It's like, but it's
Phoenix,
so humid there. Cost
yeah.
of living, in San Francisco is so high.
Have you ever been to Paradise Valley? There's a reason it's called Paradise Valley. All right, come to Phoenix.
I'm just picturing them being like on The Bachelorette when they like steal the person. Like, can I steal you for a sec? Like on the basketball court.
Don't worry about Steve. Come over here. I can teach you more. Don't worry.
That's amazing.
Steve's more of a figurehead. I'm doing all the work.
They should make a reality show out of that. God, could you imagine how great the content would be? Oh
I
my
always
gosh.
thought free agency should be done like The Bachelor, right?
I love that.
where the GM has to offer a rose, they get to turn down each other in front. Like, I feel like this is television we need. They need to televise when GMs show up at players' houses at midnight on the first night of free agency with the coaches with their pitch. I want to see that. Give me that insight. And then I want to see the guys say, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go with this other team.
Totally.
Like that's the drama I'm here for.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if people just, if these teams and these organizations just allowed their content department to have access to that, even if they don't release it, but then you save it for a Last Dance type of documentary years and years down the road? That would be gold, like just pure gold, to be able to see something like that go down in real life, like actual visual of it. Like, we were talking about this yesterday. I was like, I kind of feel like the NBA needs one of those drama situations where, like, Blake Griffin, like, what was that whole situation where they were like flying to
DeAndre Jordan?
The DeAndre Jordan
walk
in. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I kind of feel like we need another one of those.
Oh yeah, we definitely do.
Always.
Any behind the scenes NBA content, I will eat it up no matter.
I know Lindsey said that just to trigger me though, because she's like, I know we both had these ideas when we were working for a team and we're told no. Yeah. So wouldn't it be great? Yeah, it would have been great, Lindsey. It would have.
Listen, we all tried. We tried really hard to get this content. We were told no endlessly. So maybe somebody will get a yes one day, but it wasn't us.
It'll be us doing it after the fact with people we met during the time.
Seriously, though. All right. Now that we have officially announced Monty's coaching staff or whatever over there at USA Basketball, let's move on to our next topic. Isaiah Thomas signed a 10-day contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. He scored 42 points in his NBA G League debut on Wednesday night. I know you have feelings, Espo, but I'm just going to say I love this because I think this guy deserves another shot. And everything he's been through, like, I'm here for it.
I agree. He deserves another shot. And could the Lakers, you want the drama. I think the Lakers are doing everything they possibly can to give us that drama situation. Because I love IT, the guy. I know he works hard, but drama follows him in the NBA. And now you've put him in the hotbed of what the hell is going on, which is the Lakers locker room, right? That roster makes no sense. It's been a total disaster. Now they're dealing with COVID. And now you go, IT, let's put him in there. Christmas Day could be really unique with Isaiah Thomas and the Lakers, like potentially imploding on national television.
It's like, I love IT as well, but the Lakers are kind of hilarious. Like, they are just going back to the well every chance they get of players that haven't been in the league or probably shouldn't be in the league. Older guys. Someone tweeted Isaiah Thomas, age 32, is the 10th oldest player on the Lakers. That is ridiculous.
So he's pretty young still then.
Yeah, he's a spring chicken comparatively. And you're talking about a guy who hasn't been in the league for like a year or two, who's on his now third team with LeBron. I guess third time's the charm in their book. Who isn't going to fix any of their problems, like with shooting or with defense.
Availability, I think, was the problem he's fixing.
And that's another thing. Like I know it's just a 10-day contract, so I don't want to like overreact like, oh, what a dumb decision, but it's a funny one for sure. I love IT, but I don't see this being a thing.
Let's be honest. When you saw that and you heard Isaiah Thomas signs with the Lakers, you had to check which one.
Yeah.
Because the Lakers are accumulating old guys.
Yes.
Like you went, no way it's the Detroit Isaiah Thomas, right? Like maybe? I don't know. Maybe? No, but luckily it wasn't. He's the 32-year-old Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm happy for the guy. That's all I know.
I love that Lindsey's like, I'm just happy for the person. That was Jalen Smith last night.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
No, I'm happy for him too. I just, it's a 10-day and it's for a team that he has been on before and didn't make it with. And this iteration isn't much better. So I don't know. I hope that it works out for him. But if he's playing significant minutes for the Lakers, like they're in trouble.
I mean, we'll find out on Tuesday because he'll be there.
They're in trouble, right?
We'll be seeing him and the Lakers on Tuesday, so that'll be fun to see how that one kind of shapes out.
That could be another implosion.
Do you guys remember? Speaking of IT, do you remember a few years ago when we had the IT Tyler Ulis jump ball?
Yes, that was fantastic.
That was one of the greatest moments that I got to witness live in my working career.
The whole crowd stood up.
So insane. And it just like the fact that I don't know how you guys felt, but that was like a highlight moment for sure because it was just so wild and no one expected that to ever happen.
Yeah, it was funny because like leading up to it was one of those moments where it was just like an organic, like the crowd starts to get excited all at once and then everybody's on their feet like cheering and you're like, this is a fun moment. Because it's two like 5'9" dudes about to go at it for a jump ball.
I think that's more of a condemnation of the 5 years you spent with the organization.
Okay, fair.
If that's like the best moment that you witnessed live. My big IT moment that I witnessed live was when they traded a third of the roster with 5 minutes left to go in the trade deadline, and IT was one of those guys when he got dealt to Boston. That was one of the most chaotic, bizarre moments in my career with the Suns because that was the day Woj tweeted like something to the extent of I don't even know or like because the whole league kind of shifted seats all in a 5 minute span and we had to remove basically everyone off the Suns roster and all their images off the site and IT being one of them, and that was just such a weird. That's my IT memory. That's what sticks out to me is just the chaos that ensued at that trade deadline. So.
Do you have an IT memory at all?
I remember his presence running Goran Dragic out of town. That's what I remember.
I have an IT memory.
I love IT. I love IT. He was fantastic off the bench, and the 3-point guard lineup actually worked statistically.
The point guardians of the galaxy, yes.
But it pissed off their best player who was coming off of an all-NBA season, had just won most improved player, and it basically alienated him and ran everything out of town. So
great.
Playing your most improved player as a point guard, as a small forward, probably not a good idea. We're letting Shane talk?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
This one's fun.
Yeah.
A friend of a friend hit his Bentley when he was in Arizona for a short time, and he was so nice about it.
He was the nicest guy. He was very nice.
See?
Loved him.
He was very nice. He's very nice, except when you say on Twitter, I've seen enough Jamal Crawford for a lifetime when Jamal was on the Suns.
Did he come at you?
Oh, I got flamed.
I would have come
at
you too. Jamal Crawford is a sweet baby angel.
Yes,
you leave that slander out of your mouth, Espo.
They were trying to play youth, and they were playing an old man multiple minutes a game. There was no point in it.
Jamal Crawford and Cam Johnson can do no wrong. So you
It wasn't Jamal's fault.
You're not allowed to say anything bad about them.
It was not Jamal's fault. Coach said go in. He went in and played. I don't blame Jamal. I blame the coaching staff. My point was the coaching staff.
Still.
You and I are going to have like a legit fight on one of these shows.
Thank God Gerald's back.
I've been away too long. Holy shit.
We were starting to bicker.
we were close last night on Jalen Smith.
Oh boy.
No, that was Cam Johnson.
Oh, on Cam.
Oh,
no.
Jalen, a little bit on Jalen.
No, you got a little testy with the Jalen.
It's not, but I'm not
I feel
as
bad for him.
I do. I'm not as like, okay, but Cam Johnson, Jamal Crawford, two totally different areas than an IT and a Jalen Smith as far as like,
fair.
I will defend them.
On the sweet baby angel scale.
Look,
Yeah,
Look,
IT and Jalen Smith do not get a sweet baby.
They haven't even
angel
earned their
title.
wings yet. They don't have their wings.
Somebody ring a bell. We got a bell. We'll get them their wings. But okay, so the Cam Johnson thing last night. I step out of the room, and I don't see the alley-oop.
Right.
Right. And she sells it to me as if it was the greatest moment in Suns history.
That's not true. See, he's exaggerating. This is why we're gonna fight.
Yeah.
Johnny.
I was like,
Yeah.
And she's like, how dare you besmirch the great name of the sweet baby angel, Cam Johnson? And I'm like, I'm not besmirching his name. I just didn't think it was that great of a play.
Listen, if you get the title of a sweet baby angel, then like that is a very hard title to win. It's harder to win that than it is an MVP in this league. Okay,
Who has earned that title in your
Those
book?
two
Cam
people,
Johnson
that's
and
it.
okay.
That's it.
I'm
Just
about
the
as
two.
far away from the sweet baby angel designation as you can be right now, I think. Code JJM, let it go already. I think
Yeah, because
is
I'm right. You're wrong. All right, we're gonna move on before this whole thing explodes. Our next topic: Klay Thompson. He's a no-go for Christmas Day officially. Oh, well, according to Shams, which I feel like you can believe.
Yeah, that's pretty much officially.
Yeah,
Shams.
I feel like you can believe that. Shams Charani said, the Warriors do not plan for Klay Thompson to debut on either December 20th or December 23rd. Home games, sources tell me Thompson won't come back on Christmas, so earliest possible return would be December 28th. So there you go. No full squad, both sides, Christmas Day matchup.
So from an entertainment standpoint, and just from being a guy who loves watching Klay Thompson play basketball and wants guys to be healthy, like obviously that's a bummer. It would be really cool if Book and Klay were both back for Christmas Day. But as a guy who's looking at the standings and seeing how close the Warriors and Suns are, and knowing how much these head-to-head matchups could matter down the road if the standings are close, hooray. Like that's good.
See, logically, I know I should feel like that as a Suns fan, right? But then there's the part of me that goes, I do not want to hear and have my Christmas ruined by the phrase, if only Klay Thompson played. Like, I had my summer ruined by if only if Jamal Murray would play.
Yeah.
I don't need my Christmas ruined by a bunch of Warriors fans when they get their asses handed to them by the Suns, telling me Klay Thompson would have changed everything after he hasn't played in like 1,000 days. And I wish that's not even an exaggeration. I think it's 900 and something he hasn't played. Yeah. We didn't know what isolation and COVID and anything like that was the last time Klay Thompson played.
That's true. I mean, honestly, if somebody comes into your mentions on Twitter and just respond back, Frank Kaminsky. Just let them know.
Is that just going to be my response?
Yeah, that's it.
Frank Kaminsky.
Just Frank Kaminsky, because the minute Frank comes back, like, they're dead. Because he's going to have another 30-piece. Espo's going to end up getting a tattoo on his face, and it's going to be, like, a great time all around.
I'll scream Frank Kaminsky, and then I'll whisper, Abdul Nader.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that one.
Oh,
but it's a bummer overall. But at the same time, Gerald, you bring up a very good point. It does work in our favor, regardless of what people on the internet are saying. All that really matters at the end of the day is where the Suns fall in the standings and then winning that chip. So if this helps, then it helps. And you can't take it away because it is what it is. All right.
Hold on. I think we need this. The Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA. And you'll see it again on Christmas Day, with or without Klay. So.
Yes, absolutely. With or without Devin Booker, too, because you just never know, even though all signs point to him being back for that Christmas Day game.
Yes.
All right, our next topic. Gerald wrote some really good content this week on gophnx.com, and we're going to talk about it because we haven't had you on to be able to break down some of these pieces. So the first one we want to talk about is your article on Deandre Ayton and just kind of how he's grown in that pick and roll spot. I think it's safe to say, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's safe to say the Suns legitimately have the best center and backup center tandem in the NBA right now. I think you, at the very least, will agree with me. Espo, we could probably get you on board if you're.
Oh, I'm
sitting on the
already
fence.
on board.
Okay, good.
I have a take, but I want Gerald's content to have the time to breathe. His
nice.
articles, the 2 articles are probably the 2 best things you've written, and that's no slander on the other things you've written. I just have particularly loved the last few. So you have the stage. I'm not going to interrupt you.
Appreciate that. It was really striking watching DA in Portland the other night, and that was the biggest thing, and that's why, like, that article that I wrote on his pick and roll growth, I was up till 5 in the morning writing it, and it's just been striking to me to see how much he's evolved on that front, because last year with the pick and roll, when he would catch the ball in the short roll, if there was any space between him and a defender, he wouldn't close it. If there was a guy that cut him off, he kind of wouldn't. He might force up a shot or just kick it out with a 2-handed overhead bullet pass. And this year, he's putting the ball on the ground. He's attacking defenders. He's finishing over guys. He's finishing through guys. He's finding shooters on the perimeter. Like, if this is the Deandre Ayton that we're going to see for the rest of his career, like, yeah, he needs the max, like, next summer. He needed the max already, but he's going to earn that max at this rate with the way that he's playing the pick and roll. So last year, he only ran 2 pick and roll possessions per game, which was 36th in the NBA. You think about Deandre Ayton being a pick and roll guy, you should run him a few more pick and roll. Like, Dario Saric averaged more pick and rolls per game last year than Ayton did. This year, it's doubled. It's up to 4.1 per game, which is 6th in the entire league. So they're running it a lot more, and he's being super effective. He's scoring 1.4 points per possession on pick and roll possessions as the roll guy, which is the 3rd most in the NBA. And he's shooting 77% on those possessions, which is the 2nd best percentage in the NBA among guys who have run 50 pick and rolls. So he's been phenomenal on that front. And then you combine that with Javale Mcgee, who is 2nd in the NBA in points per possession on pick and rolls, 1.5, and is shooting 78.3% on those possessions, which is 1st in the NBA. So they have the 2 highest percentage on roll guys shooting the ball, and they have 2 of the top 3 on points per possession on pick and roll guys. So that is just incredible. Like, the Suns are hammering teams with this pick and roll right now. And DA over these last few games has been phenomenal. You know, without Booker for basically the last 6 games, 5.5, he's averaging 20 points, which is a team high, 9.5 rebounds, and almost 3 assists and almost 5 free throw attempts. Like, before that, he was averaging like 1.5 assists and almost 3 free throw attempts. So he's elevating his games and being more aggressive in ways that he just really hasn't to this point, or hasn't been able to show consistently. And he's doing it at the perfect time with Book out. So it's been really impressive to watch his growth in the pick and roll. I wrote about it way more in depth on Go PHNX if you want to check it out, with a lot of like video clips to showcase some of the things that I'm talking about. But for me, his ability to put the ball on the floor when he catches it in the short roll, as we've talked about so many times, is really elevating him to a dynamic pick and roll player.
How much do you think the fact that Chris Paul is now fully, it seems like in what he said in interviews that he's more fully comfortable with DA this year, that things are starting to click more. That he talked about, you know, there was something they'd been working on for months and it clicked in one of the recent games. Like, is it part comfort level that Chris Paul now knows that can be his pick and roll partner there?
Yeah, I think they've talked about it, that the trust is getting even better. Like Monty said, their pick and roll chemistry has evolved, and it's still evolving. You know, Chris said something interesting, that like, we have these conversations and sometimes they can be arguments, but like, they're arguments in the service of months down the road in a critical juncture of a game. We have that, like, we're on the same page. We have that ironed out. So it's really cool to watch that happen, because when Chris Paul first came to Phoenix, there was a lot of concern about what his impact would be on DA. Obviously, he makes bigs better everywhere that he goes, but when it comes to a guy like DA, like, the mental toll of playing with Chris Paul, how much he expects of his teammates, what effect would that have? And DA has been totally receptive to the criticism. They've had that dialogue going back and forth. And when you have that trust, when you have that building chemistry, and when you just have more time on the floor together, surrounded by shooters who help space things out, like, that's a really dynamic combination.
So Code JJM in the chat, and I don't I don't think he's trying to be mean here or anything, but I think, Gerald, you should respond. He said Max McGee then too, because I'm not seeing the big difference.
So the difference with McGee is that he is hyper efficient in limited minutes. And that's kind of what I wrote about today, is that like per 36 minutes, JaVale McGee is an absolute god. Like he would be one of the best NBA players to ever play. He's averaging almost 24 points, 17 rebounds, and about 2 blocks per 36 minutes. Like the guy is super productive when he's on the court. He's only playing 16 minutes a game. And there's a reason for that. And it's because he does get tired. And when you play him for longer than 4, 5, 6 minutes, he's prone to making mistakes, getting a little fatigued. And you need a guy like DA, like the guy logged 45 minutes in his first game back after being sick the other night.
I mean, that's a big difference, being able to do it in 16 minutes versus being able to do it in 40 plus minutes.
Right.
JaVale McGee's a geyser and Deandre Ayton's a waterfall. Like quick burst for JaVale McGee, and he's great. Deandre Ayton can do that sustained, and that's a different. But that's why they work so well together. That's why, I mean, for me, they're the best center tandem in Suns history that we have ever seen. It's the first time ever that the center position is a true position of strength for the Suns, and that defense is such a big part of it. And these two guys are why. And this is kudos to James Jones, because JaVale McGee was kind of lost in obscurity last year between Cleveland and Denver. He didn't really even play much in that Denver series when they were going to get swept against the Suns. Like, it wasn't like he was being used. James Jones looked at it and went, I know exactly how to use him. Monty said, I know how to work him into the system and make him effective. And that's why he's such a lethal combination with Deandre Ayton. And you need two guys. Like, why is it, Deandre Ayton, JaVale can do what he does. Yeah, in short bursts. And that's exactly what you want from your backup. You want a guy that can come in and play similar to the way your starter is for short minutes till your starter gets back out there. I don't know why it has to be one or the other. You can have both.
Right. And then that's the thing we should note about McGee, is not just the conditioning and the limited minutes with his production, but also like DA's doing it against starters. JaVale McGee most of the time is doing it against bench guys. Like, and there are a couple other things, like Deandre Ayton is shooting 81% at the rim, according to Cleaning the Glass, which is in the 96th percentile. JaVale McGee's at 68%, which is still good, but it's only the 56th percentile. So, like, DA is a much better finisher. He's a much better screener because he ranks second in screen assists. And I know Utah Jazz fans love that stat, so I'm not going to put too much emphasis on that. But
just because the Jazz fans like it, screw them.
Yes. Anything Jazz fans like, I'm probably not on board with. But he's second in the league in screen assists, which is pretty notable. And also, like, JaVale McGee's per 36 dominance also extends to his turnovers and his fouls. 3.5 turnovers and 5.7 fouls per 36. So
you got to foul out every game.
Yeah, he's going to foul out if you start.
If you got him, you may as well use them, right?
Yes.
Much like the contract, why not max it? If you're gonna have the fouls, you use all 6 of them.
Yeah,
The Mark West mentality of Sun centers.
Yeah.
But to talk about JaVale a little bit more, through 14 years in the league, he's never posted a higher scoring or rebounding average per 36 minutes. And his field goal percentage is the second highest mark of his career. What all do you attribute this success to this year?
Yeah, so we've kind of asked them and Monty and a couple of the guys about this. And, obviously McGee is a guy who has been a good pick and roll above the rim threat everywhere in his career. We asked JaVale about it, and he just goes Chris Paul. Like, that's the reason for him. But he also mentioned developing that chemistry with Cam Payne. Payne said on the first day of training camp, he went up to Payne and said, just throw the ball up there. I will go get it. And as a guard, when you have that kind of presence there that you can, like DA, I love DA, but he's not always above the rim in that same way that McGee is. Like, you can overshoot DeAndre Ayton. JaVale McGee, it's a little bit harder to do that.
Are we sure that Cam didn't misunderstand that, though? And that's why he's just throwing it off the backboard this year instead of trying to make the layups?
I mean, it's possible. I'll have to follow up on that. I took the assignment too far.
Is that a thing?
It is now.
Yeah, but McGee said something interesting, which is, and I really hope the Feed DA crowd is listening to this, because McGee pointed out that Monty is really good about designing sets that capitalize on the big skills, like not traditional post-ups, because like neither he nor DeAndre Ayton have a lot of moves in their bag. They have that jump hook and they have their size and their strength, but they're not Kevin McHale from the past, like working in the post. They're not Hakeem Olajuwon with the footwork, but Monty does a good job with his sets of setting things up so that guys are rolling and they're being put in positions to succeed. And even when they don't get the ball, that gravity of them rolling, having to send a guy to help on that every time always opens up shooters on the backside.
In defense of the feed DA crowd, at least, and I can only speak for myself and what I think I know of Saul's thinking, which is scary that I can get inside his head. But I think you brought up the stat that this year they're using him more in the role, right? That they're going to that. And I feel like that is more of what the feed DA crowd is trying to make the point of, because without Devin Booker, there is a renewed emphasis or an emphasis on going to DeAndre Ayton in the pick and roll. And why can't that be the case in games where he starts to get hot in the first half? And now I understand defensive change. Sometimes things are taken away in a second half, but sometimes I just feel like they go away from that. And I feel like that's where some of the feed DA crowd is.
Right. And I think it's interesting that you bring that up, because we're way early in the season. There was that half where DA went off and then he had a bunch of shot attempts. And then I think in the second half, he had like one or two. And people were pissed about that. They were like, why didn't DeAndre Ayton get more touches? And I wrote an article about that, and I went back at the film and I looked at the second half at all his touches to figure out, like, okay, were they really just missing him? Were they not putting an emphasis on getting him involved? They were running a lot of the same offense. The difference was that the defense was sending multiple guys at him, and so their strategy was working. The Suns lost that. I think it was the Kings game.
Yeah, I think it might have been the Kings.
And they lost that game, so everyone was upset, and they blamed it on that. But if you look at the film, like, Devin Booker and Chris Paul just missed a lot of the mid-range shots that they are hyper efficient at. And those shots were being freed up by DA doing the same thing he was doing in the first half. The defense just adjusted to try and take him away. So I feel like when shots aren't falling, of course you're going to look at, okay, why didn't this guy get more shots, or why didn't this guy get more shots? But that is both the blessing and the curse of the Suns offense, is they have so many weapons and they have that we score mentality, and they always say those cliche things like anybody, it could be anybody on any given night. But this team like really does that.
Well, Thursday night was proof of that.
Yeah.
You look across the box score and you're like, there's no one star. Everybody did the work tonight. You know? So
it's one of those things where I think the offense works when shots aren't falling. It's more noticeable that the way that it backfires a little bit. But it does work when those shots are falling, when defenses have to adjust and take DA away, because, even back then they were still running a lot of pick and rolls with DA in that game and in games like it. There's been a renewed sense on that front. So for the feed DA crowd, like, they're working on it. They're running a lot of pick and rolls to get him involved, and that's where he's best. He's not best as a traditional post up guy or a spot up mid range shooter. He's best in that movement and in that action. So they are feeding DA if you were, able to keep an eye on those pick and rolls.
Is there anything else about either of these two articles that you wrote that you do want to touch on before we move on to our next topic?
No, just read them.
Yeah.
That'll keep them employed.
You should read them.
And if you want to read the DA one, subscribe to our newsletter. You can see it there too. Yeah. We're going to start sending out maybe once a week. It depends on if we have to manually send them right now, but we're going to send out some of Gerald's articles as free previews through our email newsletter. So check that out and read Gerald's stuff, because I've become a smarter basketball mind because of it. And if I can get smarter, you can too. So
appreciate
absolutely. That. Yeah. Go PHNX.com. The DeAndre Ayton piece is available to everyone. The Javale Mcgee piece is available to our members. So everybody head on over there and check that out. One quick question before we move on. Jubin said, a little late, but do y'all think this play from DA keeps up when Booker gets back and he gets less touches?
I think the scoring will naturally go down. The assists will probably go down too, but I think you look at the Suns' offensive numbers, they're obviously clearly better with their best or second best player, depending on who you ask. So yeah, I do think DA's touches will go down a little bit, his scoring will go down, but not like in a noticeable way or a way where he's feeling underutilized. Because like we've been talking about, even when he or McGee don't get touches on those roles, they're freeing things up for the offense and making it better. So his importance will still remain where it is right now. It's just right now he's really answering the bell and picking up some of that scoring slack.
Which is what you need in times like this when your best or second best player, whatever you want to call it, is out.
Yeah.
Do you think it makes his case for getting the bag?
Yes.
What we've seen. Like,
absolutely.
I put that out on Twitter and I got a lot of crap because 2 games don't make. But it's not 2 games. It's it's just the stark contrast of how they are with and without him, right? And what he's been able to grow, like you point out in the article, even within the parameters of playing with CP3 and Book. I don't know what more this guy can do to prove it, but
he's done all I could have asked, because we talked about this over the summer. Like, DA in a nutshell, maybe not worth a max, but because other guys in his talent range or whatever you want to call it are getting maxes, absolutely was worth the max, and they didn't give him one. Now I think he's legitimately looking like a player who is worth the max. And you can point to the stretch early in the season where he missed games with the lower leg contusion, and the Suns kept chugging along because JaVale McGee was great. Frank Kaminsky was playing out of his mind. But now Frank Kaminsky is hurt, and you're looking at regular season games, a small stretch, versus what it's going to be in the playoffs. Like, maybe you can't play Frank Kaminsky in a playoff series against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Maybe we saw you can't play. I love.
He
Frank
had a great
more than
game
anybody,
6.
But yeah.
He had a great game 6.
He did the best that he could.
Yes, but he was outmatched, and we know that, and we know that against better teams, you're going to need DA playing 36 to 40 minutes in the playoffs on a given night. So, I love JaVale McGee, but he's not that guy. And if you don't have Deandre Ayton, you are legitimately missing out on a top 3 to 5 center in the league right now.
Yep. You can't replace what he's able to do in the efficiency and the defensive end, which is not as quantifiable as everything else. So.
Absolutely.
All right. One last reminder. If you want more in depth on this topic, head to PHNX.com right now and read Gerald's articles. You will not be disappointed, we promise. Okay, before we get to our final topic of the day, let me tell you guys about the latest no-brainer from the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. If you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use the promo code PHNX, after you place a $1 bet on any NFL team to score, you can win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with the promo code PHNX this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Again, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Espo, do you have a pick of the week for us?
I do.
What are we betting on this week?
We're going to the wacky world of darts.
Oh, wait, what?
No way.
The wacky world of darts.
I love this.
The PDC World Championships of Darts taking place this weekend. And Saturday at 3 p.m. Arizona time, it's Michael Van Gerwen versus Chad Barstow.
The Gur?
The Gur versus the Chaz. That's right.
I have no words.
You know what else is really fun? Russian table tennis. It's like 50-year-old Russians playing table tennis. It's so fun.
This is my pick of the week, Shane. If you want to hear Shane's pick of the week, go to Instagram for the Defin Lock or the Bet Show. If you want to win some money, I got your pick of the week you need to listen to right now. And like I said, we're at the PDC World Championship of Darts. That's right. I'm going to take Chaz Barstow a plus 800 on the money line to win. I don't even know how you win in darts, but it's going to be Chaz Barstow.
Well, you score the most points.
You throw darts at a board and you hopefully you win. I don't know. Like, I'm giving you my pick of the week, and it's Chaz Barstow plus 800 to beat Michael Van Gerwen. Take it to the bank.
All right.
This man just made a pick of the week for darts. I don't.
Hey,
I blind bet cricket on this show.
You might win a lot of money.
Here, I'm gonna just for you.
Is it a bullseye?
Right now, it's a bullseye. Oh yeah, an Espo bullseye for the pick of the week. Since you seem so crazy that I'm going to live bet right here.
Oh, no.
I'm going to put $5 down on Jeff Smith, the money line, to win versus Ross Smith. Apparently, it's brothers fighting it in the Dart World Championship.
I'm not related.
I have no. Yeah, it's Lindsey Smith's brothers, Jeff and Ross, fighting each other in World Dart Championship. I just put $5 down on it just for you, Gerald.
All right.
Live
Good
dart
luck,
betting
Espo.
on the show. Last time I did this, I hit on a cricket match. So no wonder my dad thinks I have a gambling problem.
It's fair.
I can win $15 on that.
Might need to read the number a couple of times this episode.
So,
Chaz Barstow, your pick of the week in the World Dart Championship.
just remember on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, it is 21 and older only, Arizona only. Gambling problem, Espo, remember this. 1-800-NEXT
Oh, it's on speed dial. It's number 2 on the phone.
Customers only.
I text them all the time. They're helpful.
Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Chris in the chat said, when does Saul come back? I believe he's back on Monday.
I think Lindsey's thinking, not soon enough. Espo's gone off the rails.
We just needed a buffer, and Gerald's here. He's in the middle. That's why Gerald's in the middle today.
I'm hurt.
I'm
You're
just
wearing
kidding.
socks that I bought you as a Secret Santa,
did. Look
and
at
you
my
besmirch
socks.
my good name.
You started it.
I did not.
You started it with your words.
Not. How dare you?
My favorite is indignant Espo. Sounds a lot like Batman.
So, Chris in the chat said that Macho Man Randy Savage.
That too. I can go Bane. Nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask.
No, I
Why
don't
is
know
he
if that
Spanish?
I don't know.
I don't
Bane has an
know.
indistinguishable accent in that movie.
I don't know about that one.
You want my Bane
Yeah.
impression?
Do it.
What? Give me the iconic line. What was the line? Bane's best line.
Bane, you were born in you
Oh.
or no
I
you
was
were
born into
you
darkness?
adopted darkness. I was born in
You merely
darkness.
adopted the dark. I was born in it.
See, that's a good Bane.
Molded by it.
I'm Batman. We should do a whole show where I'm Batman and you're
Your
Bane.
throat's going to hurt so
Oh,
bad
no.
at the end of one of
I
those
do
You would
this
shows.
all
like
the
that, wouldn't
time.
you?
I would like that.
Oh my God, I would hate that.
Our producer just walked in like, what the fuck is going on here?
Dear Lord.
Only the greatest show in podcast history. I'm Batman.
All right, we're going to move on to our final segment of the day. It's Friday, and that means we've got a brand new G-rated coming at you. Today, we're going to talk about Succession.
Yes, we are.
Oh no, we got.
In a non-bat
Okay.
Succession,
Shane, we
not
gotta cut his mic.
Non-Batman. 78 days until the new Batman movie, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, he's got it. He's got the
I
countdown
know,
going.
yeah.
He's
Heyo,
ready.
Watch out.
So yeah, a little
Tell us about
Succession.
this, guys. I have not watched it. I might watch it next summer. I'm always a little late to the party
No, you,
on a lot
Next
of shows.
summer, you have a busy
Oh,
schedule coming
I
up.
do.
you should just lock yourself in the house the next 2 days. We don't have games.
We have a game on
Binge-
Sunday.
So what?
Yeah.
You can watch it till 6 o'clock on Sunday. Binge watch the heck out of it. It is spectacular. And the finale of season 3 was unbelievable.
Okay, real
was.
quick. I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. There might be spoilers within this conversation. So if you have not
Yes.
seen the finale yet and you don't want it to be spoiled,
Mhm.
now is your time to just check out and come back and hang out with us on Sunday. Okay, we
Yes.
appreciate you. We'll see you later.
Spoiler alert for sure.
Yes, I
As-
don't care if you spoil
as-
it for me, to be honest with you, because the likelihood of me actually watching
You're
is
the
pretty
person
low.
that pulls up Wikipedia and like just
I
reads the plot, and you're like,
totally
oh wow, that's interesting. Then you feel like you watched it
Yeah.
afterward.
As,
Yeah.
as Logan Roy would say to everybody leaving for spoiler alerts, fuck off.
Fuck
all
off.
right? Fuck off. Yeah, I do a terrible Logan Roy. But
That's fine. It's
The-
hard to do his voice, honestly.
the last time we talked about Succession,
Mhm.
I said it was the worst depiction of a Greg ever,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
I take that back after the
You've-
finale.
You've come around.
It's a comeuppance.
He's really come up
I mean,
over the last.
yeah, I mean, juggling a Contessa
Mhm.
and another woman,
Mhm.
now part of the lower rung of the upper class,
Yeah.
as he was told.
Mhm.
Him and Tom kind of just went, to hell with being the bottom feeders. We're
Mhm.
taking charge of all this.
They really did, and it was. I mean, that was kind of. That was the mic drop moment of the season. Obviously, when you find out that Tom is kind of the one who sold out his wife.
He shivved his wife.
Yeah.
Shivved.
That's a
Shiv.
dick move.
Yeah.
No, it was well
It was.
warranted.
Yeah.
Because in the
Shiv
previous
is,
episode, she basically said, I don't love you.
Shiv is like kind of
That's
the
fair enough.
worst, and I feel like they needed a divorce in season 1. Now they need like a full blown annulment and like separate.
No,
Like
he
bad.
Tom just cut himself loose, and
He
good on
did.
Tom.
He did.
With it, but like Shiv is probably the worst of the Roy characters. I think
It's
it's calculated. It's done on purpose.
What's his name? Not Kendall, Shiv, and Roman.
Roman, yeah,
Romulus. Yeah.
Yes.
He's probably the worst in my book, just because he's such a like scheming little weasel.
Yeah,
and he's also like just a full blown dick.
But I think he does it because he badly wants to be part of the siblings, and they've treated him so poorly. Shiv is calculated, and it goes beyond, like the pettiness that Roman has.
Oh yeah, well, she released that press release that basically threw him under the bus publicly for all his addiction stuff.
Yeah, she killed Kendall.
That's her brother,
almost literally.
Yeah, and so I wanted to talk about the Roman children. That's the thing, is they could have taken down their dad if they'd have just teamed up at the beginning of the season when Kendall reached out to all of them. They could have done it, and it was cool to see them come together at the end in that limo ride. And she's like asking, like, "Do you want to kill Dad?" And he's like, "Pass me the fucking shotgun."
Yeah.
Like,
wait, his kids
phenomenal.
Not
literally kill, like kill him as in take him out as head of the company, basically.
Oh, okay.
Like, are we ready to kill Dad?
I was like, wait, what is this show about?
Yeah.
Well, it's basically a modern day Game of Thrones for the head of a company.
It's Game of Thrones without the violence, basically. It's like Arrested Development, but more serious.
A dramatic Arrested Development.
A dramatic Arrested Development meets Game of Thrones.
I don't,
because the family's like super dysfunctional.
I think that's fair,
and it is very funny. Like, it's a pretty funny show.
Job.
Yeah, like
Kendall is Michael. Yeah, no, I can actually see this is actually a really good comparison.
I mean, it's one of the best shows on TV right now. I think I'd only put Better Call Saul ahead of it, probably. But
it is the only show I've been addicted to like this since Mad Men.
Okay.
Like, I love the Marvel TV universe, and I watch those, and I've enjoyed them, but I wasn't going and reading after the fact recaps and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I did that with every Mad Men. I've done that with Succession since I binged the first 2 seasons while I was supposed to be working at my old job while working from home. And I fell in love with it. And now every Sunday I'm reading the recaps. I'm going, oh, what did I miss? What's this? How are other people reading this? Like the penultimate episode where everybody thought, well, is Kendall dead?
Yes.
I was reading I'm like, okay, whose opinions got what? Because I'm on the fence with.
I need clarity on this.
I need to. And where the hell? I didn't think they were going to top it. Like, I thought this is going to be one of those season finales where the episode before the season finale was the real season finale.
No,
I was wrong.
It was, I did have a little problem with kind of the fake out. Like, at the end of the penultimate episode, like, it ends with Kendall face down and like bubbles coming out of his mouth, and you think like, okay, he might have actually died, and you don't know. It leaves you on the cliffhanger. And then to start the first episode, it's like immediately resolved. Like, he's fine. Obviously, he's a little traumatized because Ken is going through it this season. But like, I was like,
I felt like you needed that though to set up some of the elements in that episode, because the most powerful scene in the whole season, I felt, was when Kendall had the breakdown, laying in the street basically, and then you get the first semi-feel of human moments between these siblings, right? And it showed that. This is why I can't dislike Roman. I love that we've basically just been
it's fine.
Lindsey,
I'm happy to step aside. It's fine.
But I felt bad that it was the first time I felt like you really saw how Roman is incapable of the human emotion based on how badly his childhood was. He tries to be there for Kendall, and he only knows how to say the joke and pat his shoulder. And that moment I went, oh my God, that's me sometimes. Like, I can't handle human emotion. I make the joke and go, it's okay. I don't know. But then so if you don't have the fake out, you don't get that moment.
That's true.
And then it doesn't set up the juxtaposition that you see in one of the final scenes where it's the siblings again. And it's Roman having the breakdown because he realizes Dad doesn't love us at all, right? He does not care about us. And Kendall winds up having to be the one to put his hand on his shoulder and console him. And in both situations, Shiv doesn't give a crap. She's just more worried
She's
about
focused on her own shit.
How to fix the business or how to fix what's happened with the business. And the fact, yes, in the last scene, how to come to terms with the fact that her husband has basically cut out her knees. Yeah. I take it back. I think the worst Roy might actually be the mother.
It might be. That was a twist I didn't see coming, and I was like, oh man, come on, Mom. But like, you're right. To your point, I think the fake out bothered me because of how quickly it was resolved, but you don't get probably the best or the most emotional scene of the season without it. And I think that's kind of the beauty of the show. And a lot of people don't like that a lot of the characters are just downright unlikable sometimes. Yeah. But it's kind of interesting to see their damage from their upbringing play out in the way that they treat each other and the way that they try to come back together to each other. Like you were saying with Rome, like all he had to offer were like irreverent jokes that like made his brother laugh and showed that he cared, but like he's not capable of any true emotion like that.
But that's why I love the rise of the anti-hero in television, because that's life.
Yeah.
There isn't always an immensely redeeming quality about people because they've been messed up by their life, their struggles, whatever the case may be, and that you have to find the things that you like are semi redeeming in the mess.
Yeah.
And this show does that so well that it's so uncomfortable at times, and then you find yourself going, why do I like this character that seemingly has no redeemable quality? And I think there's elements of each of these characters that you go, I like that. Like even Logan. I'm like, I like the fact that he can just detach himself and make the decision that needs to be made.
Right. He doesn't lose for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very interested to see where it goes for season 4 because, like I said, it's probably the second best show on TV right now. And like you were saying, there are very few shows that like, not since Breaking Bad, where I'm just like digesting all the content that I can about it after the fact and like leading up to the next episode and whatnot. So it's a really good show. If you have not seen it, I would definitely recommend it. Season 3 just wrapped up and there's 10 episodes in the first 2 seasons and then there's 9 in the third. So,
when do they come out usually?
Sundays, but
no, I mean like in the fall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I got a whole year until I need to watch that.
Which means she's never gonna watch.
Yeah, she's not
if I do, it'll be this summer.
By the way, Logan Roy. Would he make a good NBA GM?
No.
He would until Cruises got him investigated by Baxter Holmes of ESPN or something.
Fair enough.
Dun, dun, dun.
You know what? I shouldn't say this, but say it anyways. There were some interesting parallels in season 3 of Succession and what may be going on in a certain franchise. So.
Well, then I don't know if I want to watch it.
You feel kind of.
Is it therapeutic or re-traumatization? I don't know. It's therapy. A toss-up.
Yes.
Therapy. Yes. Yeah. You're right. Yes.
Yes.
What better way to deal with the trauma than face it head on?
Oh boy.
Fair enough.
So Espo, season 3, what would you give it out of 10 Phoenixes, since that's the unit of grading that we use here?
It would have to be Phoenix with the middle finger up to describe this show, but I'm going 9.5. It had everything. Like there were some complaints about the beginning and was it meandering or is it going anywhere?
There's no plot.
There's no.
You don't watch it for the plot.
But there was a plot and it went somewhere and there were elements of it. Like they're micro plots. I almost feel like there's the plot with with the family. There's a plot with Tom and Greg. There's all sorts of things.
Right.
And such great moments. Like suing Greenpeace is just hilarious to me. But
Greg on the come up, suing Greenpeace, juggling 2 women.
Look, finally,
is he going to be the villain by the end of the show, Espo?
No, he already sounds like the villain.
My prediction, he's going to wind up CEO.
You told me that last time too. I'm still struggling to see it, but he's about to be Luxembourg royalty if he gets with the Contessa.
And he's about to be the lower level of the upper class, right? And so there's a chance. 9.5. This was some peak television for me. And without that Kendall scene and the twist at the end of the finale, it was probably in the 8.5 range.
Okay.
But that final episode was such a payoff for everything that we saw this seaon that 8 and 9.5 for me.
Yeah, I didn't really get a lot of the criticism for the early part of the season. I felt like the last 3 or 4 weeks, every episode that came out was the new best episode of that season.
Yeah.
Like Kendall's birthday party was probably the epitome of Succession. Like it was cringeworthy, it was funny, it was emotional, it was insane. Like that
when they
was
walk in the party.
Yeah,
oh my
that
God.
was like peak Succession to me.
That was
until
peak
the finale.
Roman too. Outside
Yes.
of that, outside of the scene with the picture where he makes the face.
Oh my God, I forgot about the dick pic. Oh, already a classic meme.
Oh, already a
Twitter.
classic line in PHNX on his. I forgot about the dick pic.
Like
if you're listening to this on
phenomenal.
audio, that just threw me for a loop.
yes, it's you'll know what I mean when you eventually watch it because
Okay.
that is a
You've seen
classic.
the memes.
It doesn't show like an actual dick pic.
No,
I
yes,
would
it does.
assume.
Oh, it does
It
actually.
does,
No,
yeah.
it does.
It's
Lovely.
Right.
that's thoroughly uncomfortable.
I forgot.
So I
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
be re-traumatized again in
Yes.
that way.
Oh
Yes.
no.
Uh,
Oh no. It's really funny though. I don't know. Like
are you a
that scene-
sicko?
Are you a sicko? Yeah.
Which is the line of the season for me.
Yeah, it's I just there were so many good moments from the season. I would probably have to give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay, so we're right in the same.
Have you ever given anything a 10 out of 10?
Yes, I can't remember. It's been a while though.
I have a feeling next week he's going to give something a 10 out of 10.
I might. So it has to be like an actual cinema classic. Like I
I'm
love
getting the
Star
feel-
Wars, but I wouldn't give a Star Wars movie like a 10 out of 10.
I get the feeling that we're going to talk about Spider-Man
We
No Way
might.
Home
We
next
might.
week, and I think you're going to give
I've
this a
heard
10.
nothing but good things. I'm very excited. So we'll see. I'm going to see it tonight, actually. So pretty pumped.
I'm hoping to go tomorrow.
How
Lindsay will see it in
exciting.
Lindsay's like, "That's
Lindsay will
great."
see it in 3 years on Disney Plus
I
when she
will.
steals somebody's password.
I actually have Disney Plus.
All
so,
right,
Okay.
Well, technically, I guess I am stealing someone's, but it's a family. I pay
Okay.
for one, they pay for the
Gotcha.
next, and we all
Mm.
share. You know what I mean?
By the way, Shane, are we down to like one viewer on this? Whoa! Wow.
For some reason.
For
he
some
says-
reason.
for so long.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
that's
so
fair.
glad that you all didn't tune out of the Succession talk. If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Mhm.
Skip the next 3 Suns games and just go watch it. Join us for the post game, but skip the actual games. So.
Yeah. See, the thing is that I'm not going to watch it till next summer because I don't want to watch it now and then have to wait a year. Like I
Mm.
plan this strategically. Like if I'm going to binge a show to catch up, I'm going to binge a show to catch up within a month of it, the next season coming out, so I don't have to wait.
Have
That's
you watched
fair.
Rick and Morty?
No.
That's a good one.
That's a good
very
one to
funny.
binge too.
Watch
I-
Better Call Saul if you haven't. That's phenomenal.
I tried. I couldn't get into it at
Did
first.
you
Keep
watch?
going.
Did
It's
you watch Breaking Bad? then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Breaking Bad is the only show I legitimately watched every single Sunday on television.
It's the GOAT.
It's the only show I've ever done
It's
that.
So good.
Because
so
it
good.
was, I think it was before like Hulu and all that stuff
Yeah.
really took off.
Mhm.
So that was the only show for the entirety of that show every Sunday I committed to watching.
I think I've said this, but I binge watched Breaking Bad, which is a very bad way to watch that show
Yeah.
because I could see where if you watched it over 5 years and you saw the slow progression of
Mhm.
Walter White. But I went literally in a week. I
So
binge watched
bad.
the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
thing,
Mm.
and it was like, oh my god, he went from dying, learning he's got cancer to being this guy. Like,
Yeah.
what? It's unnerving to watch that one fast.
So I binged the first 3 seasons, and then at that point I was caught up, and season 3 had just ended, and season 3 ends on a major cliffhanger. So from season 4 on, I watched week to week, and I loved doing that because, like we talked about, I digested all the content I could. I would like rewatch the last week's episode before the new one, and like everyone was talking about it every Sunday, especially for that last season when everyone had caught up basically on Netflix. It was like a TV event. Like Breaking Bad,
Mhm.
Game of Thrones, those were like the weekly
I
TV
loved
events.
Game of Thrones too.
I loved
could
it
not
until the
get into
last 2 seasons, and then they
I was sad the way that it ended.
Screwed
Like,
the
that was
pooch.
stupid.
Gerald, did they take away your New Mexico birth certificate because you didn't watch the first 3 seasons in real time?
So everyone kept telling me to watch it, and actually my my cousin's uncle, he's not my uncle, but he's my cousin's uncle, plays Gomi in that show, Stephen Michael Quesada. So I know
Name
him, and
dropper.
yeah, so he's so I felt really
Wow.
bad that I hadn't watched it. I just wasn't a big TV binger at the time, and then I got to college, and I was like, well, I have a lot of extra
Oh
time
my
now.
god, you
so
got to college.
yeah,
I was in
I
college
just dated myself and made him feel a little bit old.
I think I was like married for like 5 years by the time I watched that.
But yeah,
Anyways.
if you like Breaking Bad, like this first season takes a little while to get going, and it's more of a slow burn, but it's really funny. And some people say it's better than Breaking Bad. I don't, but it's the best show on TV right now, I would say.
Shane's asleep behind the Mac. We probably should wrap this up.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
Quietly leave the studio.
Just quietly
Tiptoe
sneak
out.
out. Don't
Oh,
wake the baby. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the PHNX Suns podcast. If you haven't seen Succession, please go watch it so that Espo and Gerald can bring you in on all the things. If you have questions along the way, feel free to tweet them. Don't tweet me because I won't be able to help you. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Lindsey Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald Bourguet on Twitter at Gerald Bourguet. You can follow Espo on Twitter at Espo. And of course, you can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Suns. Espo, take us home.
Follow Lindsey and send her Roman Logan, or Roman Roy memes, and ahoy away.